Hey y'all, and welcome back to my channel. Today we are tackling 4 projects around my house that I have been putting off. I know we all have those areas in our home where maybe we have forgotten or are too overwhelming of a project that we've been putting off, or we just haven't had the time for. And today my goal is to give you that motivation to go ahead and get them done. I decided to break these 4 projects down into 4 different days. And then on my final day of the week, I decided to get at a project that I've been really looking forward to of giving back. So I'm so glad y'all are here. If you like organizing and cleaning videos, be sure to hit that subscribe button and give me that thumbs up if this is giving you the motivation to tackle some of your projects that maybe we've been putting in the back of our mind.
I'm not gonna play nice. I'll be the witch you tell your friends about. I'm the crazy ex-girl you pretend you don't know, 'cause you know I could ruin your life. Rumor has it you have someone new. She'll regret you like a bad tattoo, 'cause you'll never change, you'll always stay the same. All about me, I don't give a nothing sticks to me, baby. Yes, hon, I'm Teflon, I don't.
These storage bins have been a project that I have been wanting to do for a while. I had other storage bins that I liked, and they worked great for a long time. But unfortunately, in our garage, we have so much dust and debris and bugs. So I really wanted to upgrade all the bins so that they were matching and be able to put some really cute little Cricut labels. I used to just write what was on them in duct tape and just put them on, and that worked. And it's worked for me for a really, really long time. But I wanted things that I didn't have to constantly clean before I could actually use them when putting up decor. So a lot of this is decor, and then when it comes to summer stuff, that's mainly where we keep our summer towels and beach blankets, life jackets, and things like that. The other part of the garage that I wanted to really get to, because it's been gone through so much, and now outside time is a little bit shorter because it's getting colder, is the kids area of the garage. And since I've been emptying out some bins, I decided to use some bins for some things that I really wanted to protect a little bit better. And I had outgrown a couple of things, and just making some of their toys more accessible to them and much easier to clean up, because sometimes the things that with a 4-year-old and then older in the household, sometimes putting them back exactly how the packages require them to be put back in for them to fit just doesn't work. So I utilized some little carry bins that I've had from Dollar Tree and the Target Dollar Spot to get things really wrangled into place. And that worked out really, really well. And the main thing was knocking off dust and cobwebs. But again, in the springtime, this will have to come back out, because I'll take everything out as far as toys and then lay them all out on the driveway and give them a good spray down. But for right now, this is what works. So here's one of those bins I did for balls, and the other one I'm using for the girls' softball equipment. And I wanted to add in Savannah and Everett's helmets as well for scooters, bikes, and things like that.
So go ahead and tell them I'm a little bit too much for ya. Maybe you're not man enough, 'cause I speak my mind, yeah, I spit it out. I don't care about if you think that I'm a little bit too much for ya. Maybe you're not man enough, 'cause I speak my mind, yeah, I spit it out. I don't care about if you think that I'm a
So the organization is done. I do have some things that I'm going to be adding to my donation pile and another pile of things over there that are going to be going to the dump. But other than that, my side of the garage, or I should say the kids' side of the garage, really is organized. We still have the very top shelf has a lot of Christmas stuff, and I didn't want to get all that stuff out and switch them in bins until it's actually time to pull those things out. So I'll probably be working on some of those as I'm taking them down for Christmas and then as I'm putting them up. And they'll have matching bins too, because I consider those more long-term storage, because since these bins are seasonal storage, they're only going to be used once a year. And then things like hand-me-downs that we rotate for Everett and then to my nephew as well, then those are kind of like more temporary storage, and most of that has to be washed anyway, so I don't stress too much about if something were to get in there because they're going to be taken out and cleaned anyway. But that pink and blue baskets, those are the ones I was talking about. Pink one's from Dollar Tree. The blue one is from the Target Dollar Spot. It was great for the chalk. This way the kids can just throw it right back in the basket, carry it over, and plop it right back on the shelf. And then as you can see at the bottom, I still have plenty of room. This was another goal of mine doing this project, was to get it ready for any outdoor toys that they were going to get for Christmas coming up. And so I went ahead and cleaned off the sink out here and it knocked a lot of dust off. But as you can see, we are surrounded by a lot of giant trees, lots of debris that gets blown in throughout the day, and we keep our garage open the majority of the day. So if we're at home, our garage is open until we go to bed at night, because that's the main door we use, because our garage wraps around to the back of the house. So it's just way easier that way. But moving on to day 2 on Tuesday, I decided it was definitely time to finally repot some of the plants that I have inside, bring in some of my outdoor plants inside. And I'll be honest, this is the sad part. Some of these plants that I had sitting outside were probably outside for way too long. Let me know if y'all are plant neglectors too, because sometimes I take way too long in getting things repotted and I take too long on bringing them in. We had a couple of cooler nights. Was it like a week or so ago? And I think it almost killed most of my plants. But some of them still look like they had a little life left in them. So I brought them all inside and gave them fresh water, tried to ruffle up the dirt a little bit, and hoping that I can revive these. But the first one I did was my fiddle leaf fig. This has always been inside. This is probably this one and the devil's ivy that I'm about to do are my newest additions inside the house. And then I also have some rubber tree plants, which right now just look like sticks and dirt. I know, I was so neglectful. And then I have a polythos, which we call her Rapunzel, and she is doing beautifully. She's doing great. She's been in some of my videos like in the springtime, so she has definitely blossomed in the summer. We moved her outside during the summer, and I remembered to bring her in, and then I neglected all her other friends outside. But we're going to get into repotting these and getting them ready. And I have a plant stand that's almost like 5 foot high that's coming in the mail that my husband got me, that I'm going to be putting in this corner, and it's going to be on wheels so I can move it out of the way for the Christmas tree when we do put that up at the end of November. My husband is a big stickler in no Christmas until after Thanksgiving, so I'm excited to show y'all that little addition to the living room whenever I do decorating after Thanksgiving. So just giving my baby some water and hoping for the best. But this was a good little project, and it definitely looks so much more green inside our living room dining area.
Knew from the first time I saw ya, you were not like the others. A cool kind of melody. You rattled my cage without warning, kept it up right till the morning. A new kind of ecstasy. You found a different side of me, the one I'd like to be. A different side of me, yeah. You found a different side of me, like someone pretty neat. A different side of me, yeah. With you, there are no stop signs, counting down till we take flight. It's how you make me feel. Yeah, yeah. Let's call in sick and be lazy. I'm all for doing what's crazy, 'cause you make it real, yeah. You found a different side of me, the one I'd like to be. A different side of me, yeah, yeah. You found a different side of me, like someone pretty neat. A different side of me, yeah, yeah. You're changing me, day by day got me shedding skin. The layers are peeled away, got me moving through time and space. Your magic can't be erased, can't be erased. You found a different side of me, the one I'd like to be. A different side of me, yeah, yeah. You found a different side of me, like someone pretty neat. A different side of me, yeah, yeah.
Getting into my sad little plants outside. Watch this though. Hold on. 2 birds flew out of this flowering hanging plant, and it scared the crap out of me, because at first I thought it was bats, because we do get a lot of bats in our tree. So I was like, why would there be bats in my flowers? And then once I realized it was birds, I felt like I could breathe and I was fine. And I did check this potted plant, the flowering one that the birds came out of. They had just started a hole for their nest. They actually hadn't created a nest yet. So luckily I wasn't, having to kill anybody's home. But there was a nest in my ferns, and they were too far gone at this point because even the roots were like crispy feeling. So I just left them out there just because they each had a nest in them. I didn't want to disturb it. But here's those sad rubber tree plants. As you can see, they just literally look like sticks in a pot. But I'm hopeful because where the leaves had fallen off, they were still white and green. And then the tops of them, where they had gained an inch or two at the top, were still green. So I'm hoping that some leaves will start to bud on those. But the awesome thing in the last few days since I did this, the flowering plants, they look so droopy right here, but they've actually have perked up. And that is a dahlia. And it's a orange dahlia that blooms. And so I readjusted some of the decor in here to fit some of the plants. There's Rapunzel in all her glory. She's the reason why I had to get a plant stand, because I don't want to stifle her being at the top. And I know that you can get them to climb. But I really like the way she just cascades down. And then I eventually want to get her up somewhat high enough to where I can start putting some of her longer vines across the curtain rods. But I wanted to transplant some of my surviving succulents. Some just didn't do good. These are ones that we've actually stayed pretty much on top of. These long little viney looking ones did really, really good. And then the smaller little flower one, if you see it in the center, it's so small. This is actually its third time. So I don't know why it will die off and come back, die off and come back. And then we do have one that's a tree that's actually done really, really well. But anyway, other than that, are y'all like plant people? I am very, very new. I've always killed everything. Never been a big plant person, but I have noticed in the last year, as we've been bringing in some small plants like a cactus and these succulents and now Rapunzel, and then been adding to it, it really, really brings a lot of like peace. And then I really want to get to a point where I have a real plant in almost every room. I also read that doing plant stuff and things like that can really reduce anxiety too. So I will let y'all know, because my life is so chaotic. But so far, whenever I'm actually working with the plants and getting my hands dirty, I really, really do enjoy it, and it is very calming.
Tried sometimes, but you're making me nervous. No, I've realized that I can't live without you. All my friends reassure that it's obvious, and that maybe I'm wasting my time, but I gotta try. The only reason I keep sneaking out at night to laugh with you in secret under city lights. Surprised you never had the guts to figure out how I feel about you. Wish me the best of luck, I'm gonna win your love. Coming to get you, dying to feel your touch. Wish me the best of luck, coming to get you. Wish me the best of luck, trying to steal your hand. Coming to get you, coming to get you, coming to get you.
On Wednesday, I decided that the stairway and the upstairs hallway were something that I really, really neglect. I vacuum them, but it is sad to say, but I do not take the time to always wipe them down in my normal floor routine that I do in the bedrooms upstairs, bathrooms upstairs, and then the downstairs floor. I don't go around and scrub everything, and I started noticing more and more that my walls were looking less like gray and had some brown marks on them. It's kind of disgusting. And then I was like, oh my goodness, people are just running their hands down the staircase. And I'm sure anybody with a staircase in their home and kids, it doesn't even have to be kids, but people will run their hands down everything. So the banister and the railings and the walls just needed to be completely wiped down. So for wiping everything down, I did a water and Mrs. Meyer's mix. That's what I normally keep in my little spray bottle. It's really gentle on things, but it does get the job done. And I did the same thing in my mop water. I did a splash of the Mrs. Meyer's concentrate. I like the verbena one, and then just scrubbed everything down. And as you can see, I even scrubbed the trim down when it came to mopping and just really got in there and got it clean. It was very satisfying for sure when I dumped the water in the toilet afterwards. So it's kind of disgusting, but I always get really satisfied when I'm like, oh my gosh, that much dirt came up in these areas. But definitely needed to get it done. And since all of our bedrooms are upstairs, the stairway is used constantly. The end result, though, so satisfying. Maybe to y'all, and the camera really doesn't pick up how dirty these walls were and how dirty the railings and the floors and things were. It doesn't pick it up, but it is definitely so satisfying. I have a lot of touch-up painting to do, but we're about to move our treadmill from upstairs in our room to downstairs in the office. So I'm like, I'm not even worried about that, because if an accident happens and I just painted something or touched up something, I was like, oh my goodness, so not worth it. But it definitely turned out much better. And I know I've talked about it before, but I am married. My husband has 2 daughters from a previous relationship that is with us full time. They're my bonus babies. They're 15 and 12. And then we have our son, who is 4 years old. And so we have a house full of people, and that just means a lot of foot traffic. And this area that I did on Thursday is the main traffic area in our house, because like I mentioned at the beginning, we come through the garage because of where we park our cars. In this area, the laundry room and this closet right here are right there at that back door, at that garage door. So I really needed to do a really good cleaning of the surfaces of the washer and dryer, and then underneath them, behind them. And then I just needed to do a really good dust wipe down and a little touch of reorganization in that closet to make things more manageable for everything going on. It's one of those things, I have systems that really work, and it was working really well, but I do have to maintain them in order for them to continue to serve their purpose. And so that is what Thursday was all about. This is probably compared to the garage, it was probably the biggest project. It probably took me the longest, and it almost got stuck behind my dryer. But I'll tell you about that story in a minute.
City lights. I know you feel it every time Candles on the lighting, don't wanna pick a fight with everything seems so good. I guess I can't help myself. Would you call?
So I got stuck behind my dryer. All right. As you can see in this area, there's not a lot of room to be moving around in. And the dryer has a very small hose and it popped off the back of the dryer. So I had to maneuver myself around and behind the dryer, then pull the dryer close to the point where like I was on my knees, had like no room, and then it's like my legs locked up on me as I was trying to put the hose back on the back, and I finally got it on, and my 12-year-old ran me a flathead so that I could finish tightening the I think it's like shark teeth or something like that is what it's called. I don't know. Y'all correct me if I'm wrong. But I almost could not maneuver to get around because there's not much space back there. And I'll be honest, I am not a small person. So there's a lot of booty and gut to get around that dryer. I was able to do it without having to climb my way out. And I did get it back on the dryer. It was definitely worth getting stuck and almost being stuck because I was back there for like 20 minutes. It was worth it though because I got everything so clean back there and I got all the dust out and I got it hooked back on, and I think I even got it on there tighter than it was before. Don't tell my husband that I did a better job, but I'm gonna toot my own horn, toot toot. So anyway, this project turned out so good too. So this is something we use, powder laundry detergent. If y'all have not seen my homemade laundry detergent video, be sure to check that out. It's on my channel. I'll try to link it below in the description too. And I use it, but you know, when you go use anything with powder, dust will fall. And with the humidity changes in that room, because that door's opened a lot to the garage, I feel like it increases how much of the little powder pieces get stuck to the washer and to the top of the dryer and things. But I did not refill any of that because I am trying to get that done before I make another batch. And it would have been really, really satisfying to have a refill session at the end of all of this and have everything really pretty and refilled. But it did not turn out that way. I did my Walmart grocery pickup today on the day that I'm editing it and the day that this video is coming out, which is on a Sunday. And so all my refills were done at that time. But I'll have to do kind of like a refill video. I'm doing a pantry video soon, so get all the refill. Like I'm completely reorganizing my whole pantry. So with some new bins, so you'll have to look forward to that too. But in order to get off some of that pesky dust and the powder and things that had kind of adhesed itself to the washer, I use my Bissell Steam Shot. The awesome thing about the Bissell Steam Shot is you don't have to use any chemicals, and it really gives it a good lift, and you don't have to work as hard. Normally, if I was cleaning this just by hand, I'd have to scrub it a few times, but luckily with the Bissell Steam Shot, I don't have to do that at all. But this was another satisfying project. Definitely things, you know, you put off because you're like, oh, well, I'm just going to turn around and make it a mess again. But let me tell you, the satisfaction you're going to get by getting it done, and it's going to be so much easier to maintain and keep everything wiped down really, really good. And then by the time you have to do it the next time, it won't be as big of a mess either. And I'll probably get stuck behind the dryer again.
I'm calling up 'cause I'm right under the stars. Would you run on me leaving this mark? late night with someone that I knew. I just hope you won't get hurt. I just hope you've been through worse. Sometimes I'm broken, too much of emotions. Sometimes I'm delighted, don't wanna pick a fight with. Everything seems so good. I guess I can't help myself. Would you call me if I'm in the dark? I'm calling up 'cause I'm right under the stars. Would you run on me leaving this mark? But baby, I'm the one who's breaking hearts, one who's breaking hearts. Sometimes I'm broken, too much of emotions. Sometimes I'm delighted, don't wanna pick a fight with. Everything seems so good. I guess I can't help myself. Would you call me if I'm in the dark? I'm calling up 'cause I'm right under the stars. Would you run on me leaving this mark? But baby, I'm the one who's breaking hearts, one who's breaking hearts.
All four of these projects that I've been procrastinating and putting off around my house were so satisfying to get done. So, what are some projects that you've been putting off in your house? Because I know we all have at least one thing or one area of our house where we're like, oh my gosh, when was the last time I cleaned that? Because all of these areas were like that. I could not remember. I was like, when was the last time that I did that? Did not know. So whenever you can't remember when the last time you did something, it's probably time to go ahead and get it done. And you're going to feel so much better when you do. This is one of those things too. I could have gotten all of this stuff done in one day, but that's too much. So I was like, okay, I'm going to take an hour or less each day and get one of these projects done, and then still do my maintenance cleaning of my house and my pickups and things like that I normally do every day on top of laundry, and just go ahead and get this stuff done. This is also something that you can do in a month, like on the weekends. If you're busy really working during the week, and some of these projects are going to be like an hour or two, like the garage and the laundry room, where for me they took a little bit longer, then set yourself aside a little window one morning. Just get up. Don't even worry about showering. Just get up, go ahead and knock them out, get them done. So let me know in the comments below those areas of your house that you're like, "Ugh, I can't remember when I cleaned that last," and when you're going to tackle them. Let's hold each other accountable to getting these things done. I definitely have to make a list of my goals each week, of the little extra stuff that I'm doing on top of maintenance cleaning my home, so that it pushes myself to go ahead and get them done. Because if I didn't make a list and get the satisfaction of checking them off, I probably wouldn't do it. I don't want to scribble it out and put it on another week. I just want to get it knocked out. So this is your motivation. Go ahead and get it done. But by far, my most favorite of the week that I did was doing the Operation Christmas Child shoe boxes. As I was reorganizing some things around my house, I found that I had 9 extra shoebox bins, and I thought about just donating the bins to Goodwill or a donation center for resale or whatever. But then I remembered, and a friend of mine was like, "Hey, like I saw that you're cleaning a bunch of stuff out. If you see anything that can go into the Samaritan's Purse Operation Christmas Child shoe boxes, let me know." And I'm like, "You know what? I have 9, and the least popular ages are preteens." So I was like, "Let me do," because I had 5 pink colored ones and 4 white. And I was like, let me do 4 boys and 5 girls in preteen ages. So I hit up the Dollar Tree and got so many good items from there. In the boys' bins, I could only fit 12 in their bins. And then the girls' bins, I was able to pack them with 15. And I know if you don't do Operation Christmas Child, or if you do, there's still a few days left, I think, for dropping off, or it might be another week before things are due. So you still have time this week to go out and do it if that's something that you're really interested in. I used to do this quite a bit, but I hope everyone got all the motivation they needed to get things knocked out and done. And then maybe a little added bonus of motivation to do something for your community or for an outreach program like Samaritan's Purse, Operations Christmas Child. And I hope you'll have an amazing rest of your week filled with amazing projects that you get awesome satisfaction from. I will see y'all next Sunday.